Hello everyone, and welcome to another royal reading here on Mad World Tarot. And before I start the reading, it is the 21st of June. It is our winter solstice. Most of you are having your summer solstice, so happy solstice to everyone. And also happy 41st birthday to Prince William, the Prince of Wales. I was going to do readings on him today, but as usual with the Parkles, strange tales have floated to the surface in the past 24 hours or so. Bizarre stories that have overtaken events, and so I'm reading on them today instead. We'll get to William eventually. The first of the bizarre stories, and this one is a truly strange tale. I happened to be watching Tom Bower. He was on GB News last night. He's eternally on GB News, and I know it's all getting a bit much, and one doesn't really know how much to believe him anymore. The usual suspects, him, Angela Levin, the rest of them. But anyway, that's why we do tarot. We do tarot to test these stories, and this story is the story that Tom Bower broke, that allegedly Harry and Meghan want to change their surname from Mountbatten Windsor to Spencer. They want to ditch the whole Windsor thing entirely, sever themselves from the royals completely, recast themselves, that's the word he used, as Spencers. He said it's because of Meghan Markle's obsession with Diana, and we know she was obsessed with Diana. She had the books, she watched the wedding, she watched the funeral, she sobbed over the funeral. Many of us sobbed over the funeral, but apparently this is where it's all coming from. I want to look at the story because there are other things that could be kicking around. For instance, one of the William stories that I've been wanting to do is the rumour that when he finally is crowned, he is going to strip the Sussexes of all of their titles, not just the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, but the Prince and Princess, and the titles for the kids as well, all going to go. So is this some kind of future proofing, you could say, that the Sussexes know that at some stage they are going to be just Mr. and Mrs. Mountbatten Windsor, and in that case it's better to be Spencer because it looks better for Lilibet Diana Spencer. So those are the kinds of thoughts that I'm having. Also, speculation that Harry might be doing it because we know he said as much, that he was very worried he was going to be kicked out of the royal family because of Who's Your Daddy. I read on that story recently. It did look like he was very worried about Who's Your Daddy and that he might be out on his ear from the royal family at some stage. So very curious story. Let's show you. I have the new Palladini Tarot on the tarot table today. If my hands are shaking, it's because it's bitterly cold here. I have the heaters on, and even the husky, the dog, is grumbling about outside. He prefers his outside bed. He has his own bedroom inside with his own enormous bed. But outside is too cold even for a husky right now, a very old husky. His birthday in a week's time, his 15th birthday, can you believe it? The old dog, I've had him for 3 years. He was a rescue during lockdown. Not my first husky, maybe my last, but let's stop because a card has gone flying off the table. Right, I'm back. That was the Queen of Pentacles that went flying off the tarot table, and I had to go crawling to fetch it back. And so we're going to do this. It's going to be one of my custom-made tarot spreads, which I use a lot on this channel. And I've written down the questions. Universe knows what they are. And as I carry on shuffling, to remind you, it's tarot for entertainment purposes. Here's the Diana card. The moon has come out. We'll put it back in. Keep shuffling. Tarot entertainment purposes, of course, or just my opinion or speculation. We read on energy here, archetypal energy, of course, involving the royal family. And disclaimer in the box below, please read it. And I think the cards are warmed up, even if I am not. Although actually shuffling like this does actually get the blood flowing. So we'll keep at it a little bit more. And then we're going to really, yeah, okay. We've got cards now that are full of energy, solstice energy. Hard to believe we're this far through the year already, but strange days that we live in. Time hurtles along. I will explain the cards as we go. That's the why and the maybe future proofing. This is Harry, feelings and motivation. Meghan, feelings and motivation, and outcome. Are we going to suddenly have an announcement? I don't know how you do it over here. We used to have to do it by deed poll if you wanted to change your name. Don't know the formalities. We've got the Three of Cups. I almost get that this is friends. There was some kind of drinking, almost like a party game. Why do I get the idea of a party game? And I'm going to bring the next one out as well. It's the Seven of Swords, which is the skulking away. Get the strange idea that this story has come from some kind of drinking party session and kicking it around, and look, we could run away, we could leave because of the Seven of Swords that was underneath this Three of Cups. But the strange idea that this was idle talk, drinking kind of talk, just because it's the Three of Cups, and this might be the source. Somebody overheard, somebody was listening in, somebody was there and said, oh, do you know what they're talking about while they are partying? It could even be, and this is a wild speculation, and we know the speculation drill, and we could put all the allegedlys and speculations down here if I still had those little letters, which I don't, given to a worthy cause. It could even be one of the York girls. So it said, oh, guess what they're talking about when they've had a few. We'll see how serious this is. Situation. We're in the real reading now. Situation. We've got the Ace of Pentacles. This is the struggle to find a true path, to find stability, to find the road to wealth, the path to riches. It hasn't worked out for them, as we know. It's gone very badly for them recently, their adventure in California, and needing to find something new, to find a new way of monetizing themselves, something long-lasting that they can attach themselves to. And of course, the Spencer family has a long and illustrious history, and that would be, already having fallen out with the Mountbatten Windsors, who don't have such a long history, as far as I understand things. But the Ace of Pentacles, needing that connection, needing that something long-standing, enduring, to align themselves with to. We've always talked about the royal adjacent thing that was their only asset, their only attribute that was marketable as far as anyone could figure out. Meghan did try her hand at writing, and that didn't go very well. Harry, I don't know what he's tried. He's tried his hand at being a chimpo, and we're still waiting to see if that is going to bear any fruits in terms of lovely stock dividends and things like that, if that IPO ever happens. But I'm getting thrown off course here. Like the Ace of Pentacles in reverse is getting thrown off course. The Parkles have been thrown off course. So let's see. This is the telling card, really. Any truth to this story, this very wild story? Wow. I have to say yes, but I have to say it backs me up with this Three of Cups, because that's more of a dream than a reality. It's imagine if we could be Spencers instead of horrible Mountbatten Windsors. That's such a nice surname. It's got such great connotations. It was Diana's maiden name, your mummy's maiden name. And if we could go to that castle there, but it's castles in the sky. Really, the Ten of Cups. It's a fantasy land world. It's not reality. It's dreams. It's dreams. It's pie in the sky. are they trying to future-proof? This is this card here. Realizing, because I'm sure that they have got people around who watch things like Neil Sean, Tom Bauer, Lady C, and where these things are discussed endlessly, the titles. And as I say, this thing about Prince William being quite adamant that the first thing he's going to do really when he is crowned is get rid of the Parkles with a stroke of the pen. And apparently it is up to the king, not up to Parliament. Who knows? We hear these things, different takes on it. But I'm sure they are worried about what's going to happen in future. Is this future-proofing? We've got the Three of Rods. And it could be, because it's a Three of Rods in reverse. That's wands, of course. Three of Wands, upright. You're waiting for something. Things are going to grow and expand and prosper. In reverse, you've given up waiting. Things aren't prospering. Things are withering. And because it's wands, it has that idea of family legacies, things that grow, things that bear fruit, things that bud. Line of succession for me, and go forth and multiply and all that sort of stuff. So we're talking about, with the wands, we're talking here about things that are going to bud and grow, and children and line of succession and legacy, and it's in reverse. You think you've got your prince and princess titles now, but just you wait. And it could be why it was allowed. The announcement was allowed and nobody in the royal family kicked up a fuss, and it was changed on the royal website because knowing coming down the line, all going to be taken away. It's not going to prosper, basically. So it is confirming that suspicion of mine, and it is purely my suspicion. Harold, how does he feel about becoming a Spencer? Is this something he wants? We got the World in reverse. There's a bit of a Mummy Diana here in the World, I have to say, and it's the World in reverse. It's something that goes on and on and on, a story that doesn't end. That's literally what the World in reverse means, because upright, it's the end of a long thing, the end of the major arcana, basically. You've come to the end, you've completed that cycle of your life, that chapter, and you're on to something new. But the World in reverse means you haven't finished that successfully. You haven't got out of that story yet. You're stuck in it. And so it seems to me it's coming from a place of unhappiness with the way his life has unfolded, because it is the World. The World is a huge card because it is that completion of the cycle. And so World in reverse, unhappy. Mummy Diana, she's right there in the middle of it all. Mummy Diana was hounded and all the rest of it, all the terrible things. And she was hounded, and a terrible thing did happen to her. So I give him that. But he can't get past it. He can't get over it. He can't move past it. We've seen that eternally. He tells us the same thing himself. So I don't have to say allegedly. Has it got to do with his paternity and his anxiety around that? I've got Five of Wands in reverse. Could be because it's a conflict in a family. It's competition in a family, feeling like he's got to fight for his place. When I look at that card and the way they're all fighting there in the shrubbery, it's a bit odd, really. But it's, are you in or are you out? Are you with us or are you against us? Are you part of us or are you not? And having to compete and joust and spar and fight and contend for his position, and exhausted by it and thinking, well, I'm just going to give up. I don't belong there. With that Five of Wands in reverse, I don't belong. I'm going to leave. I belong with the Spencers, with the Ten of Cups, with Mummy. Meghan, how interested is she in changing her name? Oh yeah, Devil in reverse. She wants to get away from this toxic royal family and all their negative traits and how they've ruined her life, and didn't ask if she was okay. The Devil is of course being chained to a horrible situation, and move away from it, sever ties with that, free herself from that toxic situation and go to the Ten of Cups. Also, the Devil is the card that I was kind of secretly hoping might be down here, her motivation for doing it. But the Devil is a card of obsession. One of the cards of obsession. There is another one particular which might yet show up. It showed up as in the pre-shuffle before I did this reading. But the Devil is good enough. It's a big card, and we've got two big cards in reverse. We've got the World for him and the Devil for her. Similar stories that they're telling. The World in reverse, my life has been so miserable as a member of the horrible royal family, and here so toxic, so tainted, so unhappy. They were so nasty, they were evil, they were cruel, they were vicious, and I wanted to be free from that. So this Three of Cups, yeah, there is something to this story. There is, although I still think it's wild chat, wild, drunken speculation, not speculation, but imagine if that kind of thing, I can't think of the proper word for that sort of talk, but her motivation, what's her motivation for this? And we're talking about Diana obsession, and we've got the High Priestess in reverse. High Priestess can be a Diana card. I haven't really read it like that before. But it can, because it's feminine. It's one of those divine feminine energies. It's about the ultimate in terms of female, because it's female intuition. It's mysteries, sacred mysteries, really, the High Priestess. And when it's in reverse, it's gone a bit weird. So yeah, there is obsession potential in there, and there is Diana potential in there as well. So, and it's another big card. It's another big card, a little bit crazy. Don't always read the High Priestess as a little bit crazy either, but it can be in reverse. It can be just a little bit dangerous. It can go into strange magic and occult and things like that. There is potential for that in there. That is just me reading energy and speculating and not accusing at all, not saying. But that can be talking to the dead. It can be that kind of vibe. And we know that Harry has consulted psychics. We suspect that Meghan has too. There is that vibe here. Bizarre reading. Outcome. Are they going to change their names? I've got the Three of Pentacles in reverse. I don't think so with that. It's a card of telling someone to do something as a part of a team. Off you go, lawyers, off you go and do the paperwork that's going to be required to change our names. But it's in reverse, so it's not really, it doesn't have the idea of a group effort. And it would be a group effort because they would have to do it together. And it looks like they aren't going to be around as a couple for long enough to push this through. So I think it was all happy talk at some point with friends, cousins, that kind of thing. Oh, we can run away, we can leave. Seven of Swords. But ultimately, and there is huge motivation for doing this. They're very unhappy as Mountbatten Windsors. The path to success has been blocked for them over there, and they do need something new in their lives. It's wishful thinking, it's fantasy land. They are worried about the future with that Three of Wands in reverse, about what might be coming, to sink their ships basically, and to stop them from being multiplying and being fruitful in the line of succession. Harry, Mommy Diana's story, having to compete for his place in the royal family, feeling that he doesn't belong. Meghan, toxic, dangerous, awful. The Diana thing, yes, it's here, the Diana obsession. But ultimately, who would put in the work? Who would do what's required? Who would be the team that would do it? I don't think that they can actually get their acts together to do it. They couldn't get their acts together to produce podcasts. So can they get their acts together to change their surname? Don't think so. But they certainly have discussed it. That's your reading. Thanks for watching, and I'm going to get on with the next one now.